What's up, guys? Ruben Velasquez here, aka the Nintendo God, and in today's review video, I'm going to be reviewing for you guys The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch 1. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's review as much as I did making it. With that being said, guys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and comment down below what is your favorite part of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, it could be a shrine, it could be a dungeon, it could be a boss, or it could just be hanging out with some NPCs in this game. So yeah, comment down below on what's your favorite thing or part of Breath of the Wild. With that being said, guys, I'm going to be reviewing this game in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out all the way back in 2017, about 9 years ago. It was a launch game for the Switch 1 back then. So it's a pretty old game at this point. But it still holds up to this day. I mean, Nintendo is proving us just because of this game's quality and quantity, because they made a Switch 2 port of this game and Tears of the Kingdom, with just 4K graphics and upscaled visuals and stuff like that. So, yeah, Nintendo does not want Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom to go dead anytime soon, just FYI. Mostly because they haven't made a new Zelda game in a while, for especially on Switch 2. Age of Imprisonment does not count in my opinion. That's more like a side game to the franchise, not a main title. But yeah, anyways, Breath of the Wild, like I said, came out 9 years ago on both the Wii U and the Switch 1. I forgot to mention the Wii U version because it's more forgotten version of the game. It is an open world Zelda game. I guess the first ever open world, or I guess the first ever known open world game in the Zelda franchise, because there has been some Zelda games that are open world, like say Wind Waker on the GameCube. That was technically open sea because you're basically traveling a giant ocean map and traveling to different islands in that map. So it's kind of open world, but at the same time, it really isn't, because it's linear dungeons and story and all that. But when I'm thinking of open world Zelda games, I think of the very first Zelda game on the NES, because technically that was their first instance of open world, even though it was on the NES. And then of course there's Wind Waker. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, I guess, is open world, I guess, because like it's more open areas. Not just like a small town or a village, just like more open areas. Like especially in Ocarina of Time with Hyrule Field, that is like the most open a Zelda game has ever been at that time on the Nintendo 64. But yeah, Breath of the Wild is the first real open world Zelda game because you can travel anywhere you want to in this game, climb anything you want to, climb on anything you want. I forgot to say the on part, my bad. But you get to climb on anything you want: mountains, cliffs, hills, houses, and stuff like that. So basically, it's free roam, open world, whatever. And yeah, it's basically like this Zelda game is like sort of like the whole thing. Like, oh, if you can go there, like if you see that thing in the distance, you can go there, sort of thing. And at the time, it was revolutionary for open world titles. People say that Breath of the Wild is sort of like the gateway in the open world games as we know them today for some reason, because there has been open world games before this, like GTA, Red Dead Redemption, and a few other games as well that I don't really know the names of at the moment. But yeah, like Batman, the Arkham games, or the old school Spider-Man games, like the Amazing Spider-Man games. I played only one of those, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 on my Wii U back in the day, so that was sort of an open world, I guess, as well, because New York City and everything. So there has been open world games before this, but people kind of picture this as the first real open world game, or like what started them, I guess. So, but yeah, the plot. I guess I get down to the plot of this game. So basically, the plot of this game is Link wakes up in a cryogenic chamber after sleeping for 100 years and wakes up to a mysterious voice who we already know is Princess Zelda, guiding him to pick up this device called the Sheikah Slate and making his way to a designated marker that is on the Sheikah State like screen. And once you get to that marker on the map in the world, a giant tower arises from the ground, and basically like prints out a piece of the map, a portion of the map onto your Sheikah slate, so that you know where you are exactly. And right after your Sheikah slate downloads that data, a mysterious entity enshrouds Hyrule Castle in the very long distance. And you're told by Princess Zelda, who is this mysterious voice in the beginning, that that is Calamity Ganon, and that you must go defeat Calamity Ganon in order to save Hyrule and stuff like that. So that is basically the plot of this game: is to defeat Calamity Ganon, no matter what, and of course get stronger and stronger as you go along. But yeah, there's really not really a story to this game because you could literally do whatever you want. You don't have to go to Hyrule Castle immediately because that's technically suicide in my opinion, because you don't have any good weapons on you at the time of this part of the game because you just started. And I know some gamers out there who go straight to Hyrule Castle as like a challenge for like YouTube and stuff, and they somewhat succeed. I mean, yeah, they die a few times. I've seen a few videos of that, but overall, they succeed in their challenge and they beat the game in like a couple hours, which I don't like to do in open world games. I like to actually explore. So, um, but also, this old man tells you that you're in Hyrule and stuff, and that you need to go to Kakariko Village and talk to Impa and talk about like what's going on and stuff like that. But before you get to do that, you get to go to these 4 shrines on the Great Plateau, which is where Link is at in the beginning of the game, the Great Plateau. And no joke, there's 120 shrines in this game, and all of them are uniquely different. Some of them are kind of the same, like there's some like enemy trials or some puzzle like motion control trials. But most of them are mostly unique. But yeah, if you want 100% this game, gotta get all 120 shrines, collect everything in the game. Oh my god, just everything. There's a lot to this game. But yeah, back to the plot. So yeah, basically once you do the 4 shrines on the Great Plateau, the old man reveals to be the deceased king of Hyrule, King Rome Bosphorus Hyrule, and he tells you the whole plot of what happened 100 years ago. So basically, Calamity Ganon came, they literally invaded unexpectedly, and no one was prepared for it. Not even the king or none of the heroes that Hyrule had. And he basically turns Hyrule's weapons, the Guardians, against the Kingdom of Hyrule. And it was basically a massacre, as the king was describing it. And of course, Link, who is the main character of this game, and the character you play as throughout the game, it gets gravely wounded in the battle for Hyrule. And that's how he ended up in the Shrine of Resurrection, which is basically the cryogenic chamber that you wake up in the very beginning of the game. So, and then once the deceased king of Hyrule tells you all this, he gives you a paraglider, which is basically your #1 tool that you use throughout the entire game, other than the Sheikah Slate, because that's like your second most used tool in the game. But with the paraglider, you can finally glide your way out of the Great Plateau and into the actual meat of the game, which is Hyrule itself. But of course, you have to head to Kakariko Village to see Impa. That is as far as the plot goes as for this game. Other than that, you don't really gotta do none of this. You don't gotta go to Hyrule Castle. You don't even gotta go see Impa if you don't want to. You just have fun, explore, defeat enemies, collect stuff, all of that. But yeah, I had a blast with this game, not gonna lie. I have almost 100 hours on this game, and half of those hours was just part of the DLC, like collecting all the DLC costumes, outfits, I should say, doing the master mode, which is basically the same adventure all over again, but on harder difficulty. So, but yeah, half of that 100 hours is basically me doing the normal story mode, everything in the game, all the Koroks, everything, the shrines, and then the other half is basically the DLC for this game, the Champions Ballad, the Master Mode, the the DLC outfits and all that stuff. Um, so I spent a good amount of hours on this game. I kind of think that 100 hours for Breath of the Wild is a normal amount of hours spent, you know, for a game like this. Honestly, if you spend more than 100 or 150 hours on this game, then something's seriously wrong with you. We need to go touch some grass. But I swear, 100 hours or at least 150 hours of this game is normal amount of hours for a gamer like me. But yeah, there is amiibo compatibility in this game, but I don't really own any of the Zelda Breath of the Wild amiibo, so I can't really tell you guys how that experience went. Because they're kind of hard to find in my region of the U.S. because they usually only sell normal amiibo like Smash Bros. Or Animal Crossing or normal Mario-based amiibo. Never really found a Guardian amiibo, none of the other Breath of the Wild amiibo ever in my life. Even when this game first came out 9 years ago, never really found a single Zelda amiibo like that. But oh yeah, and there's optional cutscenes you can look for, or memories as they call it in this game. There's about 18 of them, and half of them you unlock during the main story of the game, which is basically going to all 4 regions of the map and doing the dungeons and all that stuff. But yeah, they're optional. The dungeons are optional. You don't gotta do them. The main story is optional, which I like because I don't like it when the game pushes you to do the main story, and this game basically is that personified because you don't the game doesn't push you, doesn't nag on you to complete the main plot. It just says Hyrule Castle's right there, do it, and Hyrule is right here. Have fun. It is basically what Nintendo was trying to tell you with this game. If you want to go to Hyrule Castle, you can. But look at how big Hyrule is. You can have so much fun here. Maybe hours and hours. Why would you ever want to go to the castle, So have fun, basically, Nintendo's saying. There's plenty of enemy camps you can go invade and conquer and stuff like that. There's plenty of, enemy, towers and outposts and stuff like that. So there's plenty of enemies to fight in the open world of this game. It's not too empty. The one thing I do like about this game that it's open and all that, so I can just do whatever I want without any restrictions. But with that being said, obviously 10 out of 10 all around. I would have to say 20 of the 20 game. So 20 out of 20 for this game, obviously. But yeah, there's really not much else because like I said, the plot, there really isn't a plot to this game. Just go defeat Clem again and have fun. That's it. There are special abilities you have in the game that you basically unlock in the beginning of the game, which is on the Great Plateau. And those are Magnesis, Cryonis, Stasis, and the Bomb Runes, which are spherical and cube bombs. You also unlock the camera later on. You also unlock Amiibo for free, the Amiibo Rune, which is basically unlocked to you from the beginning. Once you beat the Great Plateau, you get that ability unlocked from the get-go. But yeah, those are the abilities. They're kind of basic abilities for Zelda. You get 2 different types of bombs you can use. You can manipulate magnetic objects with Magnesis. You can freeze enemies or objects with Stasis, kind of basic with the name Stasis. And you can create ice pillars from water using Cryonis, which kind of fits that name, Cryonis. But yeah, there's really not much else to the game. I mean, it's a good game all around, 20 out of 20 game. But when it comes to plot, it's kind of hard for me to explain the plot because it's open world. There's not much plot to talk about. But yeah, the areas of this game are beautiful. They look gorgeous, even on the Switch 1 9 years later. I like how alive the game feels. Like you hear, crickets chirping at nighttime. You hear animal noises when you're walking across the plains of Hyrule Field. It feels like real life, but in a video game. And I never expected Nintendo to make a game like that that felt so real, like so realistic life. But yeah. With that being said, I guess that's where I'll be ending up today's episode. So there we go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's review of The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild for the Nintendo Switch 1. I will see you guys on Monday, where I will be reviewing my final, for now, uh, Mario game, because I got one final Mario game to review, and that's Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. The reason why I didn't review it today was because I didn't beat the main story yet, and I finally beat the main story last night. But of course, I already had this video planned today. So yeah, that review of Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle will be coming out on Monday next week. So stay tuned for that video when it comes out next week. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and comment down below what is your favorite thing to do in Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, it could be the shrines, it could be the puzzles, the open world itself, Let me know in the comments down below. But with that being said, this is Ruben Velasquez, aka the Nintendo God, signing out. Peace. Bye, guys.